Alright. Hey guys. So today we're gonna be doing something a little bit different from what we usually do. Right? I got a minute. I gotta lower this, make it smaller so the entire screen fits. So as y'all know, probably know at least, I'm a computer science major, right? Well, computer science major means I know how to program. And that's what we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna be learning how to program. So, as you can see, this is going to be a Python specifically, but as you can probably tell, I have a program open. Now, some of y'all might be wondering what this is. Well, it's called PyCharm. It is an integrated development environment. Basically, what that means in simplest terms is it allows us to write code here. In fact, I have a basic file up already. Let's open this up. So you see we're kind of left with this empty thing, right? So what it does is it allows us to write code, and from that code, we can, yes, I am a nerd, you're right. From that code, we can then compile it, run it, and have it do stuff. But, so this is going to be very, very basic, although I do agree, nerd. So it's going to be very, very basic programming, right? We're nowhere near making a game or something like that, although I do want to eventually get there. But right now, this is just basically the most basic C++ or Python programming we can do. So let's go ahead and start. First things first, I'm going to teach you about the print function. So as you can probably imagine, to print something, we type print, right? So what we're going to do now is we are going to print something. How about Noah Virus is the best streamer, right? Give me a second, I gotta like add the configuration here. Run. And as you see, it comes in here. This is our path. And basically it's saying, this basically reads, users is the base path. So it's the first thing we do from the hard drive. Noah V, Noah Virus. Then it goes to app data, which is just some random thing where it's stored. Local, so on this machine. Programs, it's the different programs that I have on my computer. Python. Python is the scripting language. Python 39, the version of the scripting language. And then python.exe, which is used to compile and run Python code. And then it says the same thing. Users, Noah V, but then we go to desktop, teaching Python, print.py. And basically, what this basically is saying is a path to Python, and then from there, path to the code we want to compile and then run. And that is how we would do it from a terminal, but we have this nice little run button up here, so we don't have to worry about a terminal. After that, it runs our code. And as you can see, it says right here, Noah Virus is the best streamer. And that's how you know. Now, you might be wondering why this is around quotation marks. So print requires you to input something that's called a string. A string is a data type. It's basically just a string of characters. That's all you need to know about it. We also have a few other major data types, like integers. So if we say type a large number in there and run it, you'll see it prints this large number. But if we write hello without this, we'll get an error because it can run print on a integer, but it can't run it all because you can't represent hello as a string, so as an integer, so you need to input it as a string. But now what if we created a variable? So we're gonna write a string here. String text, right? Equals Noah Virus is best. And actually, I don't have to write that. It runs just fine, right? But before we couldn't do that. Well, that's because what happens is when we print this function, it reads the variable name text, right? And it says, okay, wait, I know where this is in memory, and it's a string, so we can run that. But, and similarly, if we put like some large number, in this case 456, or a small number, it can be 1, 2, or a -1, basically whatever you want. And that's what it reads. So here's a few properties of strings, right? So we can concatenate strings. So let's just make a string called cat equal cats. And then we're going to call cats, or cat equals cats. So that basically calls our previous string, right? In this case, it's class plus spacebar because we need a space after cats. And we can write R. And then let's run it one more time. So cat equals cat plus space amazing. And then if we, oh wait, I gotta print it. Print cat. So now if we run this, you'll see it runs cats are amazing. But if we delete this line of code, as y'all can probably guess, it's going to read cats are. Now, what if we want to prompt the user to input there? So let's do this. Let's do cat equals cat plus space, right? Plus something. Now, we want to see what the user wants to say, right? So how about we prompt for user input? As you can see, now it'll write cats are amazing if I give it the input amazing. But if I say nice, you'll get cats are nice. So now we know about strings now, right? So we have our basic information on strings. I want to teach y'all next about integers. So a couple things you can do. Integers are just a number. So num1 equals, I'm going to do input here so we can get the input of it. And num2 equals input. That is not how you write that. Input. There we go. So I'm also going to prompt for it. So let's do print. What is your first number? Print. What is your second number? And now let's print num1 and print num2, right? So it's what is your first number? Let's go 1. What is your second number? 5. And it's going to print 1 and 5 in that order, right? So now we have two integers, right? Well, what if we can do math with them? And in fact, we can. So why don't we make a basic calculator? Let's just do addition for now, because that's the simplest. num1 plus num2. So it's going to be adding them together, right? And then print. We're also going to, okay, so before we do that, we are going to print, let's see, question mark, num1 plus num2. Oh yeah, and the print function automatically converts integers to strings, and that's how it prints it. Equals, boom. We can then close this, do plus here, run it. So let's say our first number is 5. Our second number is 5. Oh crap, that's running that as string. Yeah, I need to project this as an integer. So what happened here, you can see we got 55. That's because these aren't being read as integers. And actually, I don't need to write that. I need to write the input as an integer. So int stands for integer, as you can probably tell. Int. Boom. So now 5. 5. Oh, damn it. So it looks like it's not going to allow that. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to go to another line, print parentheses num1 plus num2. Right? 5, 5. There we go. So number 1 plus num2 equals 10, right? Now, what if we want to make a calculator, like a true calculator? Well, what are the four main operations that a calculator can do? Addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication, right? So let's go ahead and try that, right? So what do you want to start? So we want to be able to prompt the user for what they want to do, right? Because calculators do that. It's pressing like the plus, the minus, divides, multiplies, whatever. So now, so after we get our numbers, what are we going to do? Well, we'll also need the sign, right? So let's print what operation would you like to do? All right. There we go. I couldn't remember how to spell that. So, on top of that, we're going to set a operation variable, right, to input. And this is going to be a string, right, because we're taking like multiplication, addition, subtraction. So, let's do that. All right, so 5, make sure it runs real quick. And let's do slash. All right, cool. So it runs, no errors. That's another thing we should always do, error test our code. So now that we have this, what do we need to do? Well, we need to first figure out what operation we want, right? So division, addition, multiplication, subtraction. But how do we do that? Because our previous statements won't just allow that. So we're going to use something called a conditional. So we're going to say if op, let's start with divides, right? Equals, I think this is correct syntax for Python. It's been forever since I've used Python. And we're going to use equals here because equals denotes like truth value. So it'll compare it rather than just like set it equal to. So if operator equals divides, let's set another variable to answer. So answer, I'm used to writing in C++ where you have to declare your variables, equals num1 divide by number 2. And then we're going to return answer, right? Or no, we're not going to return. We're going to print answer. And now I'm actually going to put this in between here just to make it look better. So we're going to also add num1 divide num2 equals, and then we're going to concatenate this and convert it to a string, right? Because we can't operate on we can't operate concatenation on a non-string. What is your number? 5 divides 5. String is not defined. What do you mean string is not defined? Okay, wait. I need to remember how to concatenate to a string. So str is the command. Sorry, it's been forever. So if we do 5 divided by 5 equals, or sorry, no, stop the run. Oh yeah, this red button stops the run in case something errors out. So we're going to do 5 divided by 5. And num1 divided by num2 equals 1.0, right? It's pretty cool. So what if we now try like 1 divided by 5? Let's see if it works for 0.2. Yeah. So now we know that it works for fractions too, right? So let's go ahead and write our operators. So if operator equals, and we're going to use the star for multiplication. Answer, I'm just going to basically copy and paste this code repeatedly. So I'm just going to copy it, make a slight alteration to it. So Control V, multiplication, multiply. As you can see, it's quicker just to copy and paste the code repeatedly if we're just going to have stuff that repeats. Alright, sorry, now we're going to do addition. And next we're going to do subtraction. Subtraction. What is your first number? Hey, random. Welcome. So, pick an operation, random. Pick any operation. It could be addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. No, it's just math for now. Damn it. That's gonna error. Alright. Too lazy to copy paste shit. So let's do 5 plus 5. So we get 10, right? Let's run it again doing multiply. 5 multiplied by 5. Alright. So we know it pretty much works now. Oh, yeah, we can also do 5 minus 5. 5 minus 5. That's interesting. So when we do... Oh, yeah, that's the problem. 5 minus 5. So yeah, you see, we can do math with it. Good luck, Noah, in your journey of Python and subtraction. Yes. Don't worry, we're stopping the math now. I just wanted to introduce the fact that we can do these operations, right? Coding can be a lot of math at times, though. So now, let's go ahead and, as you can probably notice, all these are kind of bad, right? Like, not bad, but what happens if we run like 5, we forget to put operator, and we run 5? I got 2k channel points and I'm bored. Alright. So, as you can see, nothing happens, right? Because it misses these if statements. So, why don't we write another if statement? And concatenate all these. So, if operator if operator is not equal to this, and we're just going to repeat this with or, and we're just going to repeat this a lot of times, so we need it 4 times, and we're going to change all these to addition, subtraction, all that stuff, and multiplication. So if it's none of those, We have to concatenate all of these back. And I'm pressing tab to do this, by the way. Tab. All right. So now, if it's none of those, we are going to no more operator. Okay. So if we run this, we're also going to run else statement. So else print let's do invalid word that I cannot say. I know, I'm looking at word chat. It says I can't say operator. I see. So for some reason this didn't run. Now why is that? Let's see. It does not equal. Huh, that's weird. That shouldn't have run. Wait a second, I need to Google if else in Python. It's been forever since I've done this. All right, so good. I'm gonna head out now. Bye, and have fun, dude. All right, nice to see ya. Huh, this is so weird. This should be running. All right, so why is this not running? Oh, I need to write and. Okay, so this is a good opportunity for learning errors, right? So what happened here is I wrote or. So it wasn't equal to this. So this was false. This was false. This was false. And this was false, right? So every time it would run through, right? So yeah. And I need to change all these to equal. So basically what would happen is every time I would run through, it would just get all of them true because I was running not equal to instead of equal to. And now if we run it, 5, 5. So we'll see we'll have an invalid operator now. Okay, so now let's learn about loops. So what if we wanted to be, so this is one really interesting one. So what if we wrote code and we had it to where basically it would send a text. We wrote something in a string and it would send a text, right? Basically, we just write some function that will send a text to some person if a string is called. Well, what we can do is say, let's see, what are we going to do here? Word equals input, right? So we're going to take some random input word and we're going to use a loop. So say we want to send it 100 times. For I in let's see. I need to look at the loops real quick. Okay, so for I in range of 0 to 100, so basically from I between 0 and 100, we are going to run print word. Okay, and we're going to put our input word to be hello. So as you can see, it ran quite a few times. In fact, it should have run 100 times exactly. Let's do it something a little more manageable. Let's have it run 5 times. Or, yeah, 5. So now let's let our word be something random. Press enter, and it'll run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, right? So this brings up a really interesting idea. What if we wanted to create a game? Well, what do we have right now? We have our basic operators and stuff like that. So let's create a basic game, right? So what do y'all want to do? How do y'all want to create a game? Let's see. I'm trying to think of a good game we can come up with. So let's actually like create a real game, you know? So let's say you can gather resources in it. So it's going to be a really good time to teach y'all about arrays. So let's set some rules for it. You can gather resources. You can... What's another thing you can do? So you can fight... Okay, so let's say you can gather resources, fight monsters, and... Let's just say that's it for now, right? So now, what we're going to do is we're going to find the resources we need. So let's say we're going to use stone. And we'll also do crafting. Stone, wood. What's another one? Water. Because they'll need to survive, and similarly, food. And let's also do I'm trying to think of another one. Can't think of a good thing. All right. So let's say we'll have stone, water, stone, wood, water, food, and health, right? So we have a bunch of things to keep track of. Well, stone is going to be, and let's comment all of this out. Basically, what a comment means is the code will just skip over it and it won't be ran. And the little hashtag in front of it comments it out. So now, let's say we can gather food. Well, we also need, so we can gather stone and wood, water, and food. And then we can also gather health. Now, let's start the game. So, while not quit, well, action equals quit. So while action does not equal quit, and let's create a blank variable called action, we're going to run it. And a while loop basically just means while run this until the action is true. So first thing we're going to do, action equals input, right? Well, actually, let's see out what the options are. So print quit. So we're going to print quit, right? Print possible actions. Boom. All right, so now our possible actions. Oh crap, we got into an infinite loop, you see? And then we're gonna do action equals input, right? So what are we gonna test first? First, this needs to be parentheses. Let's check and make sure this runs. So possible actions, quit. Let's just quit. Oh, sorry. Quit needs to be lowercase. All right. And then we're going to and then after the game runs, we're going to say, see you later, exclamation point. And let's make sure this runs right. Quit. See you later. All right. So now, let's say gather. So our first action should be like gather stone, right? Print gather stone. And I'm actually going to put a number beside these. But you'll have to type that for quit. And the next one is going to be print gather wood. 2 print gather food, because we need food, right? Gather food, print gather water, and that'll be our fourth action. All right, so now we have all our actions done. So so let's make sure this runs. All right, so it says gather food, gather stone, wood, food, water. All right. So after this, after we get our action, I'm gonna write a bunch of things. So, oh yeah, also 5 list resources, right? Resources. There we go. That's how you spell resources. All right. So now let's let our next action be. What do y'all want? What should the next action be? All right, so if action equals 1, and actions can be stored as a string, right? So because of the quit option and just input's a string. So this declares it as a string variable. So now if action, and we need to use the equals operator because it checks for truth. So if action equals 1, we are going to need to gather stone. So let's initiate all of these to 0, right? All of these just empty values. No one cares about them. All right. So we don't want to gather like a set number of stones at once, right? Can we all agree on that? Gathering a set amount of stones at once is weird. So what we're going to do is we're going to say stone equals stone plus some random value, right? And let's say at maximum you can gather 10 stones. So we are going to try and do random. So we're going to import a random picture. I got to remember what the function is for it, though. So we are going to teaching Python. We are going to, what did I do? What did I do? Oh, I just lowered that. We are going to import a module. And this basically just means somebody else has, we're taking code that somebody else has already written. And we are going to be able to use those functions that they declare. And I will teach y'all later what a function is. So we are going to import random. And now plus random dot randint, comma. And let's say you're always going to gather at least one stone, right? And then you're going to gather a maximum number of 10. And then we're going to print. So this just takes, so this works off of our system time, right? And what it does is it says, okay, well, let's do some math and figure out what the system time is. So we're going to, and then so we're going to take the system time, do some math, and return a number between 1 and whatever our two values are. So A to B, basically. A in this case being 1 and 10 being B. So we are going to print, you have gathered, and then we're going to do a space here, plus we're going to convert this to a string, and we're going to do stone, right? Plus stone. So that's basically all we have to do. And now if we check, let's do a test run. So let's let 1 be our action. You have gathered 5 stone, but it looks a little weird because of that. So we're going to do that. All right. So next, what we're going to do is write an else if, right? So if, and we're going to implement crafting after. We're going to implement crafting and a bunch of other cool stuff, including like printing out a map. But for now, let's just focus on this. So if action, actually, let's just copy and paste this because this is really similar code, right? And I'm going to put an EL in front of this. So basically what it means, what elif is else if. Basically, if the previous if statement is false, then it's going to go to this, check if a condition is true. If it is, we are going to run the code. And you can stack multiple else ifs. All right. And actually, this isn't going to be an accurate statement. So what we're going to do is we are going to say, actually store this random integer as random equals control V. And we're going to set that equal to true. And we're going to set, and actually I'm going to set this to rand instead, just to make sure there's no issues there. Control V, rand equals plus rand. All right, here we go. So basically we're just setting it to some value rand so we can actually have the amount gained rather than the amount of stone. And we can actually, and let's actually do plus period, you now have stone, right? So we're gonna convert, I have to put that there. So now we're gonna convert stone to a string, and then plus, and we're gonna write space stone. And we're gonna do something very similar here on this side. Wood, there we go. Carry. And we're gonna set these to capital. Sorry, I'm being a bit nitpicky right now, but capital Y, capital Y. So now that we've done this, let's test it. All right, so let's say first thing we want to do is gather stone. You've gathered 9 stone, you now have 9 stone. Next, let's gather some wood. You have gathered 8 wood, you now have 8 wood. Let's gather some more stone. So you have gathered 3 stone, you now have 12 stone. Simple stuff like that, right? So, as you can see, very basic game, right? But as we go through, we're going to be doing a lot of logic stuff, and hopefully we can actually learn to create a game from this. So right now we're just getting some basic logic set up, and logic is the key word here. But later on, we are going to focus on making games that are like actually good. We are going to this is going to be a creation tutorial on creating a game. I've just decided that in like the past 40 seconds, 50 seconds, but it is now a fact, and this is how it's going to be. So if y'all don't like it, y'all can leave. And this is going to, we're going to start with the 2-dimensional game for now, and we may even move to 3-dimensional after a while. I'm not sure, but we will test and see. I'm going to be learning with y'all, because honestly, I've never created a 2D game before beyond like just Pong or something like that. So we're going to have to we're all going to have to learn with some experience here. I'm going to have to do a lot of research on Pygame. And yeah, as a computer science major, this is going to be my way of learning. And don't worry, this isn't going to like take over my normal streams. This is going to just be something I do on top of it. So now, let's go ahead and do basically just copy and paste this, right? Tab, Control V, Control V. Oh, no, don't do Control V there. And now we have a good image of a bad copy and paste. So what happened was Python is very dependent on your look and stuff. So in most programming languages, concatenation isn't important. In Python, it is literally everything. That is the difference between it not working and it working. And now let's call this food. 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 Next one is 4, and it'll be water. And I can actually get rid of this completely. So the next one is going to be 4, and this one's going to need to be 5. Water. And I'm just going to copy over this and do this quickly. So paste, paste, paste. Oh yeah, so if you don't know, Control C copies, Control V paste. And now let's make sure all of this looks right. Oh yeah, so my code errored here. So we're also going to do something to print our resources. So we're just gonna come here. Oh yeah, Control Z is also going back. Give me a second, I'm getting a call from my mom. I'm gonna end this stream for the night, but we will be back a little later. Bye. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna be playing Minecraft later, just so